guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back here at Crown Hyundai in St. Pete, Florida, because guess what? We have that one car that a lot of people are talking about, and it's this vehicle right here. This is a 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5N. But before we get into this electrified hot hatch, let's talk about what's going on here. Hyundai, they really have tried to kind of cover all their bases. They've beefed up their lineup. They've created a performance sub-brand, that N performance sub-brand, and now they're expanding their electrified lineup. What started as just the Ioniq 5 being a daily commuter that was electrified, now we see performance being brought to the Ioniq 5 in the shape of this 5N. Now, there's been a lot of talk about this car because it does certain things that other EVs, especially performance EVs, don't do. So what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a performance EV hot hatch, is this the way to go over a Tesla Model 3 or a Model Y, especially those dual motor performance versions? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and find out. Right off the bat, it has a very sporty presence to it, especially in the black. I think the black color on this 5N is really giving it a sinister look. Now, at the front of the business, you're going to see some really unique aero. First of all, we have this extra canard diplane that's in this gunmetal gray finish, separate from the rest of the body color. And you can see it's a total pass-through of an air curtain and a canard. You're also going to have functionality in the lower corner vents. I like the way they didn't just go body color with everything. You do have your LED headlights, very unique shape, especially with the way they use the little cubes in there. It's almost like you're playing Tetris or Cubert with the full LED daytime running lamps, headlights, and turn signals. And then, of course, on the lower edge, you're going to get some of that red. The red signifies that this is an N performance vehicle. So just something to point out to you. Now, as we come across the front, I'm digging how they did the gunmetal gray here with that orangish red stripe in the center. This is a functional piece to help with aerodynamics, and then very, very aggressive on that lower grille area. We do have active shutters that open and close to allow more or less air in, and the fact that ours is painted black really makes everything super cohesive and clean in the different colors. But let me know if you're liking the look of the front of this 5N. Of course, we're gonna have our N Performance badge. According to Hyundai, this is a true N Performance vehicle. And we have dual motors, a motor up front, a motor out back to give us all-wheel drive when you want it, or you could send all the power to the rear motor to give you actual drifting capabilities. But from the front, it definitely tells you that this is something more than a standard Ioniq 5. Now, as we rise up, very sleek hood, same as on your Ioniq 5 lineup. You do have that gunmetal Hyundai badge that's sunk into the hood. Because remember, we want to cut down on drag. Even though this does have a boxier front end to it, we want to still try to cut down on drag. I do like the way they flare the hood into the fender here. So this whole portion is all hood, but I love the way that it's flared in with the fender. And then as we come around the bend, we got some serious braking and wheel components here. So what you're gonna find is this machined aluminum with the flat black accent, beautiful style wheel. This is a 21-inch wheel. Tires are 275 on the width, 35 series sidewall, and look at that Brembo caliper. Beefy with that reddish orange tinge and the N Performance badge. Let me know what you think about the style of the wheel. I think for some people it's probably gonna be a little too busy. I think it fits the character of the Ioniq 5N, and you are running these Pirelli P0 tires to help give you that grip and stability. Rotors are ginormous. Of course, you're gonna have your regen braking, one pedal operation, and you'll notice that the rotors, I'm gonna have Steven kind of zoom back in, that the rotors are two-piece. That's to help cut down on heat buildup. Here's the crazy thing. Hyundai claims that this vehicle will do 2 complete laps around the Nordschleife, the Nürburgring in Germany. That's over 9 miles per lap, 2 laps until it needs to be charged. If you're gonna do a track day, you could do your 20-minute session, put it on a DC fast charger for 20 minutes, and then go right back out for the following session. So that is the unique touch that Hyundai is bringing to their electrified performance vehicle. Like I said, the flared fender, love the style, and I like the way that they kind of spruced it up a little bit here with the gunmetal flat gray area with that sparkly black. Now, as we come down the side, you do have power folding mirrors. I have them in the folded position, 360-degree cameras, LED turn signals. Up top, you're gonna have your solid roof, straight back, flush mounted door handles, and then you'll notice the unique geometrical shapes. This is one of the things that I'm not in love with Hyundai's current styling, is the amount of geometric shapes. I never liked geometry in class. Just give me regular numbers, for God's sakes. On the lower portion here, you have a little bit of that reddish orange stripe coming towards the rear, and you'll notice the extreme aero that we have. So you have the M badge stamped in, and then we have this air pass-through section to help with the aerodynamics. And then, of course, as we're coming towards the rear, into that rear quarter panel pillar area, you'll notice the sleek shape. Steven's gonna swing around and actually show off the flared fender. I do like that about this car. And then the roof spoiler is sick. Super long. It actually has a pass-through up top. And I like the way they did a Formula One style rain light for that third brake light. But the pass-through is, it's actually right here, how it comes through, the air comes through and out. The one zonk I have is the wiper. Wiper has to be tucked underneath here. That would just do the rear end a lot of justice. The Ioniq 5 badge, of course you got your N badge. And then look at the way that they worked in the DOT required reflectors into the little cubes. And even on the corner here, you'll notice that air, how it's gonna pass right through the fender for aerodynamic efficiency. We drop down to ground level, and then once again, we have that other Formula One style rain light. Love the rear diffuser, very aggressive rear diffuser. But I think the fact, like I said, that ours is black, even though I'm not a big fan of black cars for owning, it does look pretty sinister. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop that front hood and see what the heck is underneath it in this Ioniq 5N. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts, no actual frunk underneath the hood. I do like the way they did that cover, though, that motor cover. And Steven is going to go to the left, his left, to show you that electric motor underneath at the front. So what are we looking at? We're looking at 2 electric motors, combined 641 horsepower, 568 pound-feet of torque. Now, when you use the N Grin boost, that's what gives you the 641 horsepower. Standard horsepower is 601. 0 to 60 in about 2.9 seconds. Of course, we have the all-wheel drive, quarter miles and 11.1 at 123 miles per hour. Top speed is governed to 140 miles an hour. It uses an 84 kilowatt lithium-ion battery pack. The vehicle weighs 4,849 pounds. It has a range of around 221 miles. Here's the great news though, 10% to 90% charge on a DC fast charger in 35 minutes. So nice to see that they're bringing other components of their, say, Elantra N with that N Grin shift button that amps up the horsepower from 601 to 641. That's pretty substantial. But why don't we go ahead, let's turn this thing on and see it zoom. All right, guys, first time for everything. We're inside this 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5N. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need a hot hatch. I need a car that's going to be good as a daily, that's usable, but I also want to have a bunch of fun. It's like I've always wanted a Golf R or a Civic Type R or something like that, but this has me curious. You know, I like modern things and I like electronics, but how much is it? I hope you're sitting down on your modern sofa, because MSRP for this is $67,000. Just to put in perspective for you, a Type R is $44,000, a Golf R is like $42,000. So we're talking about quite a bit more, and even more than a Tesla Model Y performance, the dual motor performance. But let's see what you get for the money when you go with the Ioniq 5N to the door panels. I do like the way they brought in that performance blue and stitching. So nicely across the top. The zonk is it's a little bare in the center. Give me something else. I like the material, but I just want a little bit of design. Armrest is super soft, no gloss black. I like the checkered flag performance blue. And then the door pocket is a little tight, so maybe just 2 hot pockets and a bottle of Jolt to wash it down. We do have the Bose sound system. And then going from the door panel to the dash, more of that soft material. I do like the way they brought more of the blue stitching in here. A little bit of blue trim by your AC vents. I just want more. Maybe I'm being greedy. You have soft touch for your passenger and your driver knees and legs while you're going through the twisty bits. We have 2 12.3-inch infotainment system screens. Very simple to just go through. You got all your usual apps, but of course, because this is an N vehicle, a real N vehicle, but bam, look at that. This is where you have all your different modes, race mode, N pedal, torque distribution. This is where you could drift, all those goodies. Plus you got your readouts as well, which is nice. Throw it into reverse. Cameras are super clear on the resolution. You do have an electric column shifter. You just twist back and forward to direct drive transmission in here. Dual climate controls, which is nice. You have an actual start-stop button. It should be on-off, technically. USB-Cs, 2 of them, wireless charging, and a place for a track day Twinkie. The seats are heated and ventilated, by the way. The way you do it is you hit this button, and then up on the screen is where you have your 3 stages of heated seats, 3 stages of ventilated seats, and 2 stages of heated steering wheel. Let me show you I'll show you this when you come to the business side, the buttons on the steering wheel. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting a little excited. This is hard plastic, so I don't love this, but it's easily accessible. You got a 12 volt, you're gonna want a radar detector, USB-C, and then you got enough room down here, I would say, for 2 Chipotle burritos. And you might want to hold off on the guac. If you're dropping 67 G's on this car, remember guac costs extra, so you might want to go no guac until you're able to pay this thing off. You got your 2 cup holders. We have our pitch black alien suppository with the N badge. There's the buttons, and you see how it says H for Hyundai. That's actually the Hyundai badge. And you got performance blue on the key fob. This is as hard as a rubber rock. Don't love it. Open it up. You do have enough room in here. I would say probably for 8 more of those track day Twinkies. Bring them for your competition, especially those that think they're faster than you. The least you could do is give them a Twinkie. Give them a golden, delicious, creamy filled treat as a consolation prize. Seats, love them. The leather, the N badge lights up. The gunmetal, the bolstering, the Alcantara. The zonk is it's manual controls for the passenger, manual controls for the driver. And if you're hoping for a sunroof, you don't get one. So sorry. Come on over here, though, behind the wheel. It's a pretty cool looking wheel in this Ioniq 5N. I want to show you. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have the nice checkered flag style with the M badge. I love the pedal box. I do have to say that. You got a large dead pedal, aluminum brake pedal, and throttle with your little checkered flag design, kind of nice. The big zonk, like I said, manual seat controls, but once you set it to your body, I love the seats. These are perfect. The bolstering is great. I think for daily driving, you'll be fine. Don't cry there isn't a sunroof. Well, you can cry. That's your prerogative. It's your party, and you'll cry if you want to. But what's nice is that there's lots of headroom in here. I'm 6 feet tall. You could get your helmet on for your track day and still have plenty of room. Steering wheel, love the perforated leather, the smooth leather. You got all your N grin boost button, your drive modes, and of course the M performance buttons. I'll show you that in a second. And I love the style of the wheel. It's definitely a killer wheel with that N badge in the center. Paddles are for the regen braking, and it is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then get ready for this. There's your standard dash, but watch when I hit the M button. You ready? Oh yeah. Interesting. So there's your simulated sound. I don't know how I feel about that. Right now I feel like I'm playing pole position. Actually, I wish I was back in 1985 at Aladdin's Castle in Countryside Mall at the arcade playing pole position, because this is, I don't know. I don't know. It's even got the pops, which they're obviously not coming out of any exhaust. Tell me what you think about that. I'm gonna have to zonk it. It's not me. It's just not me. I'm sorry. It's unique though. I'll give them that. It's unique. But why don't we go ahead? Let's get in the back seat and see how your passengers are gonna enjoy zooming through your favorite twisty bits as they're listening to your speaker system in this Ioniq 5N. All right, guys, back seat area, and this is really where, compared to the ICE hot hatches, this definitely has more room, more headroom. I like how low the floor is because it is an EV, so that floor is very low. Look at how they put the AC vents in the frame. That's a nice touch. And then you do have two USB-Cs, which are very high. A little bit of the Tetris Cubert game set up there. And then what's nice is that the seats are comfy. You got the M badge to stare at while you're about to puke as you're going through the twisty bits. And then seats recline quite a bit, which is nice. What about the armrest here? It's actually soft compared to the armrest up front and the two cup holders. Just would have been nice to have some extra stitching or piping or something for $67,000. Just keep saying that to yourself. $67,000. But why don't we go ahead, let's get in the cargo area, because I want to go for a drive in this Ioniq. All right, guys, time to get in that cargo area. We're gonna go ahead and hit the button. You got nice electric assist. And one of the things that's great about a hot hatch like this is you have a lot of cargo space, almost 30 cubic feet of space with the rear seats up. Obviously the rear seats are gonna do that 60-40 split. That will almost double your cargo capacity back here to 60 cubic feet of space. You'll notice that the way that they sculpted everything, and the reason why it's so high back here, that this cargo floor is high, because you have an electric motor in the rear driving the rear wheels. Now on the driver's side, you do have a 12 volt, which is important because if you're gonna go do a track day, you wanna adjust your tire pressure. And then it's nice that there's LED lighting. The one zonk that I have for the cargo area has gotta be to put the seats down, you gotta come all the way over here and do it like that. So to me, they should have handles back here for you to be able to easily move the seats, but you got to do it that way. But think about it. You could bring all your track day goodies, the food, the coolers, the whole shabam, and still have plenty of room. And then of course your charging accessories are right underneath the back. Not a lot of place for Twinkies. Twinkies are going to have to go in the cargo area. No hidden Twinkies. But if you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Let's go find out if this Ioniq 5N really has the performance. All right, guys, we are inside this Ioniq 5N. I have it in sport mode, and of course, I'm gonna be using N Grin Boost as we're accelerating, but get ready for a very interesting drive. And what's fascinating is that the paddles not only work for regen braking, but when you're in sport mode and you're in your N modes and everything, and you're rocking and you're rolling, you actually do simulated shifts with the vehicle. So if you're ready, I'm ready. It's got launch control, left foot on the brake, right foot on the throttle. Release on throttle! So as you can see, you're getting this situation where it's doing simulated shifts and you're getting a bunch of simulated sound. I will say this. The downshifts and the shifting are pretty on point for being video game-esque. The sound, I don't know. And the funny fart noise that it's making, trying to simulate pops and bangs, it just sounds like a wet fart. So some people are into that. I mean, who am I to judge, right? But for me, it's quick. EVs handle well. All EVs handle well because the center of gravity is so low. And what's great with this one, look at that. You can get the back out very nicely. But it is a unique driving experience by far. I'm actually going to use the paddles. You have a indicator of what simulated gear you're in. Right now I'm in second, down to first. And it does give you that sensation as if you are driving a vehicle with a, say, dual clutch transmission. This does not have any kind of dual clutch transmission. It's a direct drive, but let's see how acceleration goes and what we experience. First gear, on throttle, put you back in the seat. You got Formula One style shift lights on the brakes. But very, very balanced. Good feedback coming through the wheel. And in sport mode, you can tell the suspension is definitely set up for handling. But it's interesting how you're saying fifth gear and the vehicle accelerates as if you were in fifth gear. It wants you to downshift to get that quicker acceleration. So they've done some crazy trickery with the electronics in this vehicle to really give you that feeling as if, let's pretend we're in an Elantra N with the dual clutch transmission. If you're doing 30 and you're in fifth gear, shifting manually with your DCT in an Elantra N, it's gonna have very sluggish acceleration because you got a downshift. This vehicle does the same thing. It simulates that sensation telling you to downshift. The ride in sport mode is a little bouncy, but like I said, because of the lower center of gravity, it does really, really well in handling. But let's see how she handles in the twisty bits. On the brakes. Brakes work great. Look at this. It is putting a smile on my face. And like I said, it's hunkered down. I mean, it's 5,000 pounds almost. The weight is low in the chassis, and it allows you to really use that dual motor setup very effectively with the all-wheel drive. I do like the way when you turn on your turn signals, you got those blind spot cameras. Definitely better than any Tesla. Whether it's a Model 3 or a Model Y Performance, I do like this better. I'm just not sold on the whole simulated shift thing. I mean, it's making it feel more like a actual car with an internal combustion engine and a transmission, like a DCT, a dual clutch transmission. But at the end of the day, it's not. I guess it's like that question from the movie The Matrix. If your brain thinks you're eating steak and your brain smells steak and you taste steak, but you're not eating it, what is really the reality? What you're mind is telling you or what is actual reality. My mind is telling me I'm in a dual clutch transmission Hyundai performance vehicle with over 600 horsepower. But am I really? No. I'm in an electrified hatchback with over 600 horsepower. But let's go on throttle again and see if I can get past all this. On throttle, put you back in the seat. Super balanced. I mean, that's the one thing about this. I feel like I could throw it around like a rag doll and she just responds very, very well. I still need my manual transmission. I still need my internal combustion engine. I mean, that's me. Is it fun? Sure. Would I want to own one? No. Especially at $67,000. That's a lot of do-re-mi. A lot. But it's fun. But playing Forza is fun. Playing Gran Turismo is fun. Are you really a race car driver? No. You're playing a video game. So, let's see what happens. I'm gonna leave it in first gear. We'll simulate it first gear and just let it rev out, so to speak, and see what it does. So, I'm laughing at the sound. The sound is just a little over the top, but so like I was saying, it behaves like a dual clutch transmission, where if you're in a gear and you redline, which obviously there is no revving in an electric motor, but the simulated created video game artwork here, it acts like you need a shift, and it actually starts bucking and banging off the rev limiter. So creative, but like I said, at the end of the day, would I want to own one of these? I don't think so. It's fun. And I guess for some people that they're done with internal combustion engines, or maybe they never had a car with an internal combustion engine, maybe this is the coolest thing as sliced bread, but I'd rather have that GR86 in front of us in that Neptune blue. I'd rather have that car than this. And if you think about it, you're saving over $30,000. Imagine what you could do to a GR86 with $30,000. Just a thought. But we're gonna go ahead and get back to Crown Hyundai and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in an electrified second. All right, guys. It's been an electrifying day here at Crown Hyundai. Definitely want to thank Casey and the rest of the crew getting us their very first 2025 Ioniq 5N. Let me know what you think. Are you ready to make that jump into the performance EV world? And if you're gonna do it, are you gonna go this route, or are you gonna go with a Tesla? Let me know down in that comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out though, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. Gotta give it up to Stephen Flood. Stephen Flood Photography, doing the camera work like the champ that he is. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.